Hey everyone, it's that Math Magician. On this video, we're going to take another look at functions and we're going to see, can we evaluate an input for a given function? Now let's jump right into this example problem where it says, evaluate the function g when x equals 3 and negative 2. And we see that our function g of x equals negative x squared minus 2x. And what we want to see is what happens when I drop in an input that's 3 or when my input's negative 2. What happens when those inputs are thrown into that function? We want to see what's the output going to be. And we can do that. All we have to do is take that function there, g of x, and everywhere we see an x, we have to change it to our new input. So let's go ahead and start off with x equals 3. So I'm going to take my function g of x. Notice though, I'm not writing the x now. I want x to equal 3. So what that means is everywhere in our function now, the rest of the equation, everywhere that I see an x value, I'm instead going to write it with parentheses because I'm going to change those x's to now be positive 3. That is what we're doing. We're dropping in a 3. 3 is our input. We want to now see what's the output going to be. And we can do that just by simplifying this equation now. So let's go ahead. Remember, order of operations. We always want to start with our exponents. So we have 3 squared. 3 times 3 gives us a value of 9. There's a negative out in front. Don't forget that. So our first value there is negative 9. And then it says minus, well, 2 times 3, negative 2 times 3 actually, is going to give us a value of negative 6. Last but not least is just to combine those two terms there. Negative 9 minus 6 more will give us a value of negative 15. So what that means is g of 3, right? 3 is our input there. When we plug in a 3 into g, our output is negative 15. If you struggle with negatives, right? Negative 9 minus 6, just use a calculator. There's no shame in using a calculator. It'll help you out, and especially when we're dealing with negatives because they can always be a little tricky. But that is how we plug in a value of 3. We see our output is negative 15. Let's do it one more time because this question also asked us, what is g when our input ends up being negative 2? So again, one more time, everywhere that I see my x's, I'm going to instead replace them with parentheses because now I'm throwing in a value of negative 2. Negative 2 is my input. I want to learn what's my output. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, order of operations, we start with exponents. I see that we have negative 2 squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 will give you a value of 4, but don't forget that we have that little negative out front. It's still hanging on there. It changes that value to negative 4 now. All right, now let's look here. Negative 2 times negative 2 again. Well, negative 2 times negative 2 is going to give us a value of positive 4. At this point, when you have negative 4 plus positive 4, that gives you a value of 0. So when we take our function g, we plug in negative 2 as our input, well, our output ends up being 0. And there you have it. That's how you want to use your inputs in a given function to learn its outputs. We call that evaluating a function, and we have successfully did that. So great job. It's that Math Magician, and I'll see you on the next video.